the theme I selected is user interfaces that are tangible for people that are living with disabilities. So these tangible user interfaces that I'm envisioning can mean so many things, right? Because a scissor has a user interface, but I think that like the idea that we are working with emergent technologies, and in this class in particular, we are focusing on the interaction, pushes me to think beyond the keyboard, beyond the screen. And I selected different kind of papers, different kind of research, because I thought that it would be great to have some broad view, some cases that maybe are not all working on the same domain. And I was trying to be also inclusive in which kind of disabilities we're going to be touching upon. Perhaps there's this feeling of the other that I try to minimize, bring in a broad perspective. And I'll start with one article, one research that is using very diverse methods to explore how people with disabilities, physical disabilities, they interact with devices, but in particular the idea that they might create with a physical keyboard a secondary virtual keyboard, or that they might combine things. So this idea of multimodal user interfaces. So I think that that's one kind of research, and then we'll have three that are very, very different but covering other kind of disabilities. So to continue with this idea, and instead of us designing something for them that have disabilities, like rethinking this a little bit. The second research paper is talking about some blocks that are a very humble prototype, very simple, and that they connect with each other for people with learning disabilities to be able to create circuits. And I found that paper really empowering. And one of the highlights is that in the workshops, one of the metrics is how many times they smile, and how empowering, how enabling are the results in the self-perceived efficiency. So I think that this very moving paper, like really well wrote, that made me think how simple the technology in front of the users, and how much we have to learn. And from there, there is a work that I thought that was very relevant, because otherwise we will be like only talking about certain kind of disabilities and only entering a device. This work is focused on people that are living with visual impairment, and that they want to design in 3D. The technology they use is very similar to what we use in one of the classes, and using Maya and Python scripts to generate 3D models. Just that instead of like looking at the screen or 3D printing, this device generates the 3D shapes, and you can touch them with your hands. And I thought that it was very, very related. It was a very inspiring project that sets the frame of thinking, oh, okay, learning disabilities, physical disabilities, we also have visual impairment. And from there, I take it to another research that is from Atlas. I think that it's very, very interesting that they're not using physical devices with electronics, but actually they're using a camera and some video trackers. So the marker, when changing the position or when disappearing or appearing, allows to input text or handle the commands inside of a computer, and they imagine a keyboard that can be acted with different body parts, or that perhaps it helps to do rehabilitation. So I think that is also very, very interesting. It also including from the technology implementation. And the last work that I want to share is a different kind of paper, because instead of focusing so much on the technology itself or being a survey, this one is thinking about the elder population and how are they going to engage with smart homes. And I think that there's something that are really, really powerful, because everybody's talking about IoT, or everybody used to talk about IoT, but this complexity is difficult to unpack, and there's a series of guidelines that are focused on the design of interfaces for older adults that made me reflect that it's very important for us that when we get to design something, not like to be prescriptive, but on the contrary, trying to think about what is the experience of the other, like really get into the shoes. And bottom line, I have the hope that all of us look at this work as a future self. Like, we will need to interact with smart homes one day, so we rather invent the interfaces today. So I think that there's an assortment of disabilities, an assortment of research methods, and I hope to hear comments from you, perhaps in the forum at Brightspace, or perhaps at a corridor somewhere. So yeah, that's it.